Does your child or your teen struggle with behavior or motivation or learning? Are they too loud or too quiet? Do they move too much or not enough? Do they have frequent meltdowns or outbursts? If so, it's likely that they have difficulty regulating their arousal. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. This is not information that most pediatricians cover, even though it applies to all children, all teens, even adults, but it's even more important for neurodivergent kids. This information will help you describe what you're seeing. It will help you understand your child better. What I will specifically cover is how to recognize when your child's arousal is too low, too high, or just right, and how it impacts their behavior, their learning, and their motivation. So let's get into it. So what is arousal and regulation? Well, put simply, arousal is the ability of our brain to be awake and alert for the task at hand. So when everything works well, our brain automatically adjusts our arousal to match the demand of the task, to match the demand of the environment that we're in. Our arousal allows us to focus. It allows us to be in a ready-to-learn mode. It allows us to interact with the environment and with people. It allows us to control our body in a way that is conducive to performing the tasks that need to be performed. For example, playing on the playground or playing sports requires a much higher level of arousal than sitting quietly in a classroom to learn or to listen. Being able to fall asleep at night requires a much lower level of arousal. So to sum it up, your child's ability to adjust and to adapt to the environment and to the demands is really based on their ability to regulate their arousal. This concept is often referred to as an engine running too slow, too fast, or just right. If your child's arousal is too low or too high, their performance will suffer across all tasks or all environments. For many children, this process happens automatically without thinking about it, without trying to do anything about it. But for many neurodivergent children, this is where things break down. I want to share a diagram with you that I often use with my clients to help them understand things a little bit better. Steps on the diagram represent how arousal is not a linear thing. It's not a static state, but it really fluctuates throughout the day based on the activity, based on the demands of the environment, based how we're feeling. And then you have those three bubbles on top of the stairs. On the left is a state of under-arousal where we are dysregulated, and on the right, state of over-arousal when we are also dysregulated, and where we really want to be is in the middle, which is a state of optimum arousal when we are regulated. And then at the bottom, you have those three blocks of different signs and emotions that you may notice in your child or your teen. So the thing to remember is best learning takes place when we are regulated, or best performance, in across environment, whether we're interacting with people, whether we're trying to focus on a task, whether we're in sports or in physical activity, our best performance is going to take place when we are in a regulated state. So now that you know a little bit more about arousal and regulation, here's my question. What will you do with this information? If you're not used to this framework, my encouragement to you is to start reflecting on your child and your teen's arousal level. Start thinking of situations that you can remember or observe them through current situations and try to determine if their arousal level is too low, too high, or just right. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to help your child or your teen to be as regulated as possible and to teach them how to get there. Doing so really relies on first understanding how they're performing throughout the day and what their regulation level is throughout the day. So by reflecting and observing your child or your teen can really build a foundation that will allow you to support them better and will allow you to get to the next step of figuring out how you can support them in changing their regulation level. So this is what I will cover in another video, in the next video. So thank you for watching and stay tuned.